James Dallas Martin, Sr. James Dallas Martin, Sr. enlisted at the outbreak of the Civil War with his brother Tom. James was 16 and Tom was 14. They served as drummer boys for the first 3 years of the conflict and in the battle lines during the last year under General Robert E. Lee. James was awarded a silver medal for his conspicuous conduct at the Battle of Murfreesboro in 1862. On this engagement, he put aside his drum and fell into ranks with his company and fought shoulder to shoulder with the boys behind the guns. The following is a story told by James Dallas Martin in his memoirs. In counting off before the battle, there were exactly 600 guns, and when another member of the band and James stepped into ranks, General Jackson was informed that our regiment carried 602 guns. After the battle, there were 80 men left who bore arms. The day before the war ended in April 1865, we were in Farmville, Virginia. We had a river to cross on a railroad bridge. We attempted to burn the bridge by filling a boxcar with combustible material and pushing it onto the bridge, but the enemy put it out and began to press us closely. Later that day, General Rosser charged the Yankees and opened the road for us to move on. Dark was coming, so we went into camp near Appomattox Courthouse. Before the day dawned, we were aroused and ordered to cook 3 days' rations. We had the biscuit dough made up in the skillet when we received the orders to move out towards Appomattox Courthouse. Soon, we arrived at the top of a hill and formed a line ready to engage the enemy. Across on another hill, some 3/4 of a mile, we saw a line of bluecoats formed ready to move on us. Just in front of their line was a battery of artillery. We were expecting every minute for them to commence shelling us. Now we see the line of infantry shoulder their arms and advance toward us. Now we are looking for the cannon to open on us. We stood still in our places, no orders to load and prepare to fight the enemy. Still, they advance. We stand almost breathless, expecting a death struggle every minute. The Yankee line stopped in front of their artillery. They are stacking arms. What strange proceedings! A courier comes dashing up to our commander on his horse and hands him orders. Our captain hurriedly read them. Then, facing his command, said, "Attention, regiment. Carry arms. Order arms. Ground arms. Be at ease. General Lee has surrendered to General Grant." What a murmur and hubbub now took place. Fort Delaware, Camp Chase, and life in a northern prison now stared us in the face. Soon the bluecoats began to appear in our camp, and many of our boys were talking and trading with them. They would trade almost anything for good tobacco. Then a lot of Yankee wagons drove over, and they brought provisions for us to eat. General Lee and his staff start back at our lines. Our boys lined the road on each side, and soon we saw our chieftain and his staff coming. His head was bowed, but the boys cheered him as he rode along. Many were weeping. All hearts were bowed in sorrow, and as cheer after cheer greeted him, he would lift his hat in acknowledgement. Being several hundred miles from home, we started from Appomattox Courthouse on foot. Whenever we could find a train running, we would ride as far as we could and then walk until we could catch another train. After days of walking and riding, I arrived at my dear home, worn and weary, ragged and dusty. As we neared our home station, we began to arrange our toilets so as to make a good appearance as possible. For we knew there would be many ladies to see us return, and those of us who had blankets arranged them so as to cover the worn-out seat of our pants. A great crowd met us, and we were received back into the arms of friends and loved ones who had bid us Godspeed when we left to protect our loved Southland from the invading foe. After the war, I was anxious to learn the watch repair trade and walked 40 miles to get in with a Swiss watchmaker. He could not take me, so I returned home. I worked in a blacksmith shop for a month or so, and then learned the watch repair business. At the end of 4 years, I came to Perry and set up for myself. In 18 months, I had bought a house and lot and was married to Miss Tony Killen. In 1874, she gave birth to a girl, but died of fever soon afterwards. In 1875, I married Miss Nettie Kemp and had 4 children. I started the first telephone system about 1903. My daughters managed the switchboard and heard all the gossip in Perry before anyone.